We are discussing about spectroscopy and its applications. In the last class, we discussed about principle of NMR spectroscopy. NMR spectroscopy stands for nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. In this NMR spectroscopy, when substance is irradiated with radio waves or radio frequency, so that radio frequency is used to generate resonance in that molecule so that it will give the spectrum. Mainly radio frequency is used in this NMR spectrum. When that radio waves or electromagnetic radiation falls on the surface of molecule, so in this molecule, it used to generate new magnetic field. The electromagnetic radiation we are passing is called a primary magnetic field, and magnetic field which is generated within the molecule in the presence of primary magnetic field is called a secondary magnetic field. So secondary magnetic field generated in the molecule is also called as induced magnetic field, because we are inducing magnetic field in the presence of external magnetic field. Okay, so when that magnetic field is generated, what happens? So initially, if nucleus is rotating in clockwise direction, due to the irradiation of radio frequency, it changes its direction and it is converted into anti-clockwise direction. That is called a flipping of proton. The flipping of proton is possible when radio frequency falls on the molecule. This is the main principle involved in this NMR spectroscopy. Even in this NMR spectroscopy, we have to observe two kind of conditions when external magnetic field falls on the molecule and generated secondary magnetic field. If both having same direction of rotation, that is called a reinforcement of external magnetic field or alignment of magnetic field with internal magnetic field is possible. When external magnetic field is in anti-clockwise rotation, internal magnetic field is in clockwise rotation, that means opposite direction is there, alignment again is the magnetic field is possible. So when external magnetic field is applied, we have two possibilities. One is alignment with respect to external magnetic field, alignment against with respect to external magnetic field. Two possibilities are present. In two conditions, spectral lines are obtained. So that depends, that is the main principle involved in this NMR spectroscopy. Now let us see how can we get the signals in NMR spectroscopy. NMR spectroscopy mainly gives the signals for equivalent set of protons, not for number of protons present in the compound. So equivalent set of protons will give the signals, but not number of protons or number of hydrogens present in the compound. For example, let us consider this ethyl chloride molecule. In ethyl chloride, we have CH3, CH2, Cl, where CH2 group have 2 hydrogens, CH3 group have 5 hydrogens. If we consider number of hydrogens, it should give 5 signals. 5 peaks should be obtained in the molecule, but instead it will give only 2 signals. The reason for getting 2 signals are here. The CH2 group, here 2 hydrogens have same kind of nature. Both are exactly equivalent. Hence, these 2 hydrogens will give 1 signal, and these 3 hydrogens are experiencing same environment, same nature will be there. Hence, for these CH3 hydrogens comes under one set of hydrogens. That's the reason why here NMR signals are given for set of equivalent hydrogens, but not for number of hydrogens. In this, one set of hydrogen denoted with A, second set of hydrogens denoted with B. Hence, we will get 2 signals for this molecule in case of this ethyl chloride. Now, let us go with another molecule CH3, CH2, CH2, Cl. Here, CH3 stands for one set of equivalent protons are there. CH2 stands for second set of protons, and here CH2 stands for third set of protons. Here you may get one doubt that here CH2, here also CH2, both are exactly equivalent. Not like that. The reason is this CH2 is surrounded by one side chloro group, second side CH2 group. Environment is different. And this CH2 is surrounded by one side CH2, second side CH3. So both CH2 groups are not exactly equal. Hence, we will get 3 set of protons in this molecule, and it will give 3 signals in NMR spectrum. So, Propyl chloride will give 3 signals in the NMR spectrum, whereas ethyl chloride will give 2 signals in the NMR spectrum. In this way, sorry, let me add all these members. So here propyl chloride will give 3 signals for the molecule. Then when we are going with this, here CH3, CHCl, CH2Cl. Here number of set of equivalent hydrogens we have to count now. CH3 hydrogens are exactly equivalent and these hydrogens comes under first category, one set of hydrogens. When second carbon have one chlorofunctional group and one hydrogen, this hydrogen is second set of hydrogen. And here this carbon have one side hydrogen, second side hydrogen. This hydrogen have two sides chloro groups, but this hydrogen have one side hydrogen, second side chlorine. Even though these two hydrogens present on the same carbon but not exactly equivalent, these two hydrogens are different. Hence we will get 4 signals for this dichloropropane. This dichloropropane will give 4 signals because of different environment of these two hydrogens. One hydrogen is surrounded by 2 chloro groups. Second hydrogen is surrounded by hydrogen, one side chlorofunctional group, another side. So this is another molecule where we will get 4 NMR signals. In case of this, methyl cyclopropane. This compound is called methyl cyclopropane. This methyl cyclopropane molecule have how many hydrogens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 type of hydrogens are present. Here, these two hydrogens are top side. So these two hydrogens are laying upside and both are experiencing methyl group. Hence, these two hydrogens are exactly equivalent. And these two hydrogens also exactly equivalent. So one set of hydrogens, second set of hydrogens, this hydrogen is third set and methyl hydrogens are fourth set. In this way, here this methyl cyclopropane also gives 4 signals in NMR spectroscopy. So number of signals mainly depends upon number of set of hydrogens present in the given compound. Only spectrum is given for hydrogens but not remaining functional groups. Hence, NMR spectroscopy of this hydrogens also called as proton NMR spectroscopy or PMR spectroscopy because protons or hydrogens are active in this molecule. Now, the important principle of this NMR spectroscopy, most probable question, 90% probable essay type question from this NMR spectroscopy is chemical shift and position of signals. Okay, it is the most important question from spectroscopy and its applications. Chemical shift values are nothing but, so here when we are taking, I'll show that graph so that you can understand how can we get the signals and everything. So graph is represented as, this is a graph for this NMR spectroscopy. Here this scale is denoted with delta scale. NMR spectrum is given on the delta scale. Values of delta ranges from 0 to 10. Okay, so values of delta values are started from 0 and ends up to 10 and all are measured in ppm values. Ppm values are nothing but parts per million. Okay, if we are moving, the values are moving towards 0, those values are called upfield values. When the values are moving towards 10, those are called downfield values. Remember, towards 0 called upfield, towards 10 is called downfield. And in this delta scale, there is a shifting of signals are possible. Okay, so different set of hydrogens have different position of signals. That shifting of signals mainly due to shielding and deshielding of protons is called chemical shift values. I'll repeat the definition again. Shifting of signals of hydrogens due to shielding and deshielding, shielding and deshielding effect is called chemical shift values. Let us see what are these two terms. One is shielding, second is deshielding. These two are the new terms which are most important in this NMR spectroscopy. Based on the shielding and deshielding only, we will get position of the signal in this NMR spectroscopy. Okay, so here's the scale lays in the range of 0 to 10 ppm. That is called a delta scale. If the value obtained at 0, that is called a so towards the 0 is called the upfield and towards the 10 is called a downfield. Now chemical shift values are changed for different compounds. The shifting of signals due to shielding and deshielding is called as chemical shift. Now let us see what is meant by shielding. Shielding is nothing but when the magnetic field is applied. We are taking the sample compound here. The sample compound is irradiated with radio frequency on its surface. If both have opposite moment, so direction of their movement, direction of their rotation is in opposite direction. So now that protons are said to be shielded. Okay, internal magnetic field, external magnetic field, both have opposite direction of movement. That is called shielding effect. If induced field reinforces with applied field, reinforcement in the sense both have the same direction of rotation, that type of effect is called deshielding. Okay, if alignment in same direction is called deshielding, alignment in opposite direction is called shielding effect. Always remember, so this shielding shifts the absorption bands upfield. Always when the molecule is shielded, so if the molecule is exhibiting shielding effect, the values are obtained in upfield. That means near to 0 the values or signals will be obtained. Okay, whereas deshielding effect is there in the molecule, the deshielding effect will give the values in downfield. So very easy to remember, d d. Okay, deshielding always downfield values are obtained. Downfield is nothing but towards 10. Okay, on delta scale, if the values are moving towards 10 is called downfield. When the molecule experiencing deshielding, now what happens? Downfield value is obtained. When the molecule experiencing shielding, values are in upfield. Towards 0 is called upfield on the delta scale. Let us define shielding and deshielding again. Shielding is nothing but external magnetic field and internal magnetic field. If both have opposite direction of rotation, that is called a shielding effect. Whereas deshielding is nothing but external magnetic field and internal magnetic field both have same direction of rotation. If external is in clockwise rotation, induced one is also in clockwise rotation. That is called deshielding effect. Deshielding is nothing but reinforcement. Shielding is nothing but opposing effect. Okay, so this is about the important principle of chemical shift. Chemical shift is nothing but, so these chemical shift values of given compound mainly used to explain this chemical shift values are mainly used to explain the kind of protons present in the molecule. If the proton present in aldehyde group or carboxylic acid, hydroxy, carboxylic acid or aldehydic, any kind of hydrogen can be identified. It may be CH3, it may be aromatic hydrogen, whatever the type of hydrogen we can easily identify by using this NMR spectroscopy. Compared to remaining all the methods, NMR spectroscopy will give the maximum information about the unknown compound. Most of the information can be obtained by NMR spectroscopy only. That's why NMR spectroscopy is the fundamental spectroscopic method for the determination of unknown compound. Most of the unknown compounds are easily identified by using this NMR spectroscopy. Only based on this nature of hydrogen we can identify. So we can identify what type of compound is. Okay. So here, let us see how it is possible. When the molecule is placed in the external magnetic field, it generates a secondary magnetic field. We already know. So any molecule contains proton in its nucleus. Those protons having their own spin, because of spinning, what happens? They are used to generate the magnetic field. When external magnetic field is applied, what happens? Their moment will be increased so that secondary magnetic field is induced in the molecule. The secondary magnetic field is also called as induced magnetic field. This induced magnetic field can shift the values, shift the position of signals in this NMR absorption spectroscopy because of shielding and deshielding. Shielding is due to opposing effect, deshielding is due to reinforcing effect. Shielding always shift the values towards upfield, deshielding always shift the values towards downfield. In this NMR spectroscopy, always one sample compound, second reference compound was taken. That reference compound is always TMS. TMS stands for tetramethylsilane. Here, the question may be given, short answer question may be given, why tetramethylsilane is taken as the primary standard in case of this NMR spectroscopy. Why it is selective, why it is taken as a reference compound in NMR spectroscopy. The reason is, so in this tetramethylsilane stands for silicon surrounded by four methyl functional groups in the tetrahedral structure. Okay, around the silicon atom, here four methyl groups are present, which is called tetramethylsilane. This tetramethylsilane have extremely low electronegativity. This is the fundamental factor for this high field delta values are obtained. So because of low electronegativity, sorry, greater the electronegativity, lesser. So values are shifted towards downfield. Lesser the electronegativity, values are shifted towards upfield. That's the reason why in NMR spectroscopy, tetramethylsilane is used as a reference compound. Okay. So, and its delta value is fixed as 0. So, with respect to 0, remaining signals will be obtained always. In NMR spectroscopy, we will get the peak, single peak at 0, that is mainly for this tetramethylsilane. This tetramethylsilane have four methyl groups on this. All four methyl groups are exactly equivalent. Silicon is the central atom. One methyl, second methyl, third methyl, fourth methyl group will be there in the tetrahedral structure. All methyl groups are exactly equivalent. That's why it will give only one signal. Even though here how many 12 hydrogens are present in this tetramethylsilane, it will give only one signal because all methyl groups are exactly equivalent. All are equivalent set. Hence, its value is taken as 0 and always it lays at upfield only. Okay, the values lays at upfield only. So, this is the another reason for this tetramethylsilane taken as the primary standard or reference compound in this NMR spectroscopy. And the next one is, it is miscible with all kind of organic compounds. It acts as the best solvent to dissolve all the organic compounds in this. So this is another factor to choose this tetramethylsilane as the standard compound. And the next is about, this compound is highly volatile in nature. Means after identification, after testing this, it is not required to remove the tetramethylsilane. By default, it can be removed by its volatile nature. Because of volatile nature, it can be easily evaporated. And the next is about, chemical shift values are measured on delta scale. Even tau scale is also used. Tau scale is nothing but, so to convert this delta scale into tau scale, we can take the values 10 minus delta. We already know delta scale ranges from 10 to 0 ppm. Here tau scale, in order to convert into tau scale, if we subtract the value of delta from 10, so we will get tau scale. In order to get this delta values, more 5 minutes are there to disconnect. Again, I will send the link, so you have to rejoin. Please, we will finish this HNMR today. So, delta is equal to observed shift of the value by frequency of the operator. In this proton NMR, how much megahertz of frequency we are using? We are using 100 megahertz frequency is applied. So that is extremely low frequency, low energy frequency, because radio waves are used in this. So at which position shifting is obtained by its frequency of operator so that delta value is obtained. Directly the instrument will give this delta value, but this is the formula for the calculation manually. But instrument by default, it will give the delta values on the scale. Here 0, we have one peak. This peak stands for TMS. TMS is nothing but tetramethylsilane. Tetramethylsilane is the reference compound whose delta value is taken as 0. Always it is in upfield only, and with respect to TMS, remaining compounds will give signals on this delta scale. This is about chemical shift values. Now let us see some of the chemical shift values of the compounds. When we are taking cyclopropane, all the hydrogens are equivalent, and on this delta scale the value is in 0.2. When primary CH3 group is there, around 1, the signal or peak is obtained at 1 ppm. When secondary aliphatic hydrogens are there, the peak is obtained at 1.3. If the peak is at 1.3, you can say secondary hydrogens are present in the compound. Tertiary hydrogens will give the peak at 1.5 ppm. Okay, so carbon double bond hydrogen when present, it will give the peak in the range of 4.6 to 5.9. Triple bonded hydrogen in the range of 2 to 3. If the signal at 3, peak is at 3, that indicates acetylenic proton is there in the compound. Aromatic hydrogens easily identified by using NMR spectroscopy, because we will get multiplet. It is not the single peak. Instead, we will get multiplet in the range of 6 to 8.5 ppm. When hydroxy group is there, this hydroxy group will give the peak at 3.4 to 4. Okay. If we get the signal in the range of 4, that indicates OH group is there. COOH will give the peak at maximum downfield, that is at 10. Around 10 ppm, if the peak is there, that indicates COOH. Aldehyde will give in the range of 9 to 10 ppm. 9 to 10 ppm peak is there, that indicates aldehyde group is there. Amine functional group, hydrogen will give the peak at 1 to 5. So we can't identify actually. So it is in the range of 1 to 5. So wherever peak is obtained, that may be for amine. So it is very difficult to identify amine functional group by using this NMR spectroscopy, because it is not the short range. If fluorofunctional group is there, that will give the peak in the range of 4 to 4.5. So it is very easy to identify. If the peak is at 4.5, that indicates the hydrogen attached to adjacent to fluorine functional group. In this way, it is possible to identify what kind of compound it is. Okay, so this is about the chemical shift values of, chemical shift values are nothing but delta values only. Chemical shift values of all the functional groups, all the compounds. Lowest value is given for cyclopropane. Cyclopropane will give the value at 0.2. Tetramethylsilane will give, that is reference compound, will give the peak at 0. After that, cyclopropane hydrogens will give at 0.2. And the highest signal chemical shift value is given for this carboxylic acid hydrogen. This hydrogen will give the peak at 10.5 to 12. Okay, actually the scale ranges up to 10 only, but exceptionally behind that limit, this carboxylic acid hydrogen peak will be given. Even aldehyde functional group also gives the peak in very downfield, that is 9 to 10 only. And if it is attached with fluorine, around 4 to 4.5, we will get the signal. This is about chemical shift value, and a few examples were chemical shift values given by different compounds. And most important